All right. Welcome, everybody. Just waiting for a couple more people, and we'll kick this off. Amazing. All right. Today, we are going to talk about AI, right? But not just AI. We're going to talk about the AI employee that you didn't know you needed in your business. So I'm sure. Let's drop some comments in the chat here. I want to know how many people have somebody answering phone calls. How many have a receptionist or people watching or monitoring the phone calls? Is that you? Maybe you're in your business doing that. You have employees doing it. Go ahead and drop a 1 in the chat here. All right, we got a couple. Ricky, Desiree, Taylor, Benny, awesome, cool. Yeah, so this is a webinar for you, right? The idea is that we can have an employee that answers the phone for us, right? That employee is either going to be human or it's going to be an AI. And then we're going to kind of talk through different scenarios and how this could be beneficial in your business and how this might actually help you to grow your revenue, right? All right, let's dive into it. All right, 40%. This is what my client had told me. We had a conversation. He said, yeah, across all my locations, I have multiple different people monitoring the phones, receptionists, etc. They answer about 40% of my calls across the board. And he said, let's just use 100 here as an example a day. He doesn't get quite that many, but 100 calls a day, and we're getting 40% answer rate. Then he said on average, the math came out to be about at 100, we get about 4 new clients from those 100 phone calls, right? And so if you do that, deduction and reasoning, you could say, all right, well, if they answered the other 60%, then they would probably get about 6 new clients, right? So in a real business, we implemented this exact strategy here so that they can specifically get the remainder of these clients, right? They're missing an opportunity of 6 new clients, and I help this client install this exact playbook that we're going to run through today to be able to get these new clients, to be able to solve this problem in their business. Now, why is their employees missing, 60% of the phone calls? Well, people get sick, they go on a lunch break, maybe you don't have proper coverage, maybe you have multiple calls coming in at the same time. Maybe there's calls that come in 5 minutes after your employee clocks out. So there's a lot of scenarios where you might be missing these phone calls. And so what we're going to talk about today is how to put an AI employee to catch those missed calls, to make sure that your business is not missing those, and that you can then capitalize on getting these potential 6 new clients that you didn't have otherwise, right? AI is very complicated. There's a lot going on. There's a lot that you can implement. My job is to help you to distill that down to make it very easy, right? So we're gonna talk about how this becomes a very simple process that is implemented with 1 text file, okay? So stick with me. Now, I know there's probably a lot of questions, so I just want you guys to drop your questions in the chat, in the QA section there. We'll get to those. I'll answer all those questions at the end. My team's going to be monitoring those and making sure that they get set. So drop them in the chat, drop them in the QA section. I'll run through those at the end and get all your questions answered as best as you can. And then we'll continue here, and I'll show you a really fun demo. So let's go through. What is on the other side of the missed call? So we talked about these 40% answered and the other 60% that's not, right? Now, if those are all spam calls, then that's no problem. But what if there's for a roofing business, a new roof request? Someone's calling in, hey, I desperately need a new roof. I'm getting my home appraised, or I'm trying to sell it, and the home inspector is saying that I need a new roof, and for me to close the deal, I have to replace it. So it's in the seller concessions. Can you guys come out and take a look tomorrow? But your team didn't answer. Well, that's potentially a $12,000 to $18,000 roof replacement that you guys could have had as business, right? All because your team didn't answer. So this AI receptionist is going to catch those calls. They're going to help you to make sure you don't miss it. Because if you don't answer your phones, they're just going to call the next roofing company down on the list. So you want to be the one that answers your phone. That's the whole concept of speed to lead. That's the whole concept of you're paying for marketing, so don't miss the call. Insurance company, right? imagine I'm an insurance company. I'm an agent for a company like State Farm or Farmers. I specifically have my book of business, and I'm also doing a ton of outbound calls on lead lists that I'm trying to get new business, right? However, if someone calls in that's an existing client, I want to make sure that they are prioritized, right? They get top priority so that I can continue to keep their business and keep my book healthy. If I miss their call, if I'm not quick to respond, then they're probably going to be like, well, I don't have any relationship or connection with my agent. I'm going to go look elsewhere, right? If somebody calls in and they say, hey, I looked you up and you were the closest company to me, and I want to be able to get insurance with you. And they call and it's 5:02 p.m. and your receptionist or you just left your office and you missed the call. Boom, that could have been a $4,000 a year policy that you missed out on. Wellness center, right? That could be massage, spa, that could be cold plunge, whatever. For those are getting pretty expensive, right? You have certain offices that charge anywhere between $150 to $250 a month for memberships. What if somebody calls in and says, hey, I'm interested. Can you tell me a little bit more about your business? What services do you provide? If you miss the call, now you're missing out on potentially $1,800 a year on those membership fees and dues that they pay, right? Huge opportunity in missed calls. So let's move forward and kind of talk through the difference. It might sound expensive, right? It might, and I'm actually going to talk about, it might sound expensive, but let's do the math here. If you have 100 calls a day, right? A normal full-time employee is $40,000 a year. You still have to pay all of their taxes, and you have to pay for PTO and sick time, and you have to make sure that they get benefits, and they go on lunch breaks. They clock out after 8 hours. There's basically a fixed cost there, but you're not covering the full 24-hour day that you have to pick up those calls, right? Whereas if you have a voice time agent, an AI agent that's 24/7, 365, always answering your calls, right? No PTO, no holidays, no breaks. That's really helpful for, a plumbing job that comes up because someone calls in at 2 a.m. and says, my bathroom's flooding, right? Those are the critical emergency ones that if you don't pick up, they're going to go to somebody else. So this is an always-on, full-time voice agent. And doing the math here, then in comparison, you could see $8,000 versus $40,000 a year. Now, that's assuming full-time replacement of your receptionist, right? I think there's a business decision there on, should I get rid of my receptionist? Should I not, right? Is there a trade-off there? Absolutely. And so that's something that you have to make as a decision in your business. My preference is to be able to fall back to, hey, let's look at just using the AI agent as a fallback if our receptionist doesn't answer, right? You still want that human connection, but let's not miss a single call to make sure that our team is getting every possible lead possible. We are paying for marketing. We are paying for staffing our team. We want to keep our workers busy. Let's get every single call and maximize those opportunities. Now, I did promise you I would share how easy it is. It is a single text file, right? Everything, every little detail is very customizable. AI is getting really good these days. So you could put everything about what you'd want as your receptionist that you would train into one text file. It's a markdown file. You copy and paste it. You throw it to the agent, and it follows the instructions. It is self-contained, right? This would be similar to like, hey, if you're training a new receptionist or a person who's going to be monitoring the phones for you, you'd say, hey, let's talk about how you greet people. I want you to greet them like this. I want you to have this personality and tone, and I want to make sure that there's these things that you don't say on the phone. Do not tell people about pricing, or make sure you tell them about pricing as soon as you can, right? Know that you have this like book of FAQs and business rules that we have. So if someone asks you this question, you have to flip through it. Try to memorize that. Now you don't need to do any of that training because you just put all those things that you probably already have scattered throughout your office and in your brain. You just put that into a single text file. And now this AI agent is going to be able to answer those questions. It's going to be able to handle the conversations. And then you can actually restrict it so that it doesn't go off and say random things that are not true. All right, how are we doing? Everybody good? Let's keep going here. We are going to now go to a live demo. I'm going to switch my screen over here. Bear with me as we move over. All right. I want to show you this. We're going to do a live demo. This is going to be pretty exciting. So we're going to go through each of these, right? There's going to be roofing, insurance, and then wellness studio. I'm going to just give you a real-time demo to show you how it works, right? So basically, for this one, I'm going to be calling in and letting them know my roofing shingles are broken.
Thanks for calling Ridgeline Roofing. This is Riley. How can I help you today?
Oh, hi, Riley. Yes, I actually had somebody come and take down my Christmas lights, and it looks like they stepped on a few shingles and broke them. I was wondering if that's something that you guys can handle and take care of?
I'd be happy to take a look at that for you. We handle shingle repairs all the time, and the free inspection will let us see exactly how many shingles got damaged and give you a no-obligation quote. If you'd like, I can check our schedule and get someone out to take a look. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that works. I'm free in the next couple of days. What do you guys have available?
One sec, let me check the schedule for you. We've got a few openings in the next couple of days. The earliest is Wednesday, August 5th at 5 p.m. and then
Yeah, let's
Thursday,
do
August 6th
Wednesday,
at 11.
August 5th. That works. Let's do that one.
The 5 p.m. slot on Wednesday the 5th. Once I have your name and the property address, I can lock that in for you. What's the best name to put on the appointment?
Yeah, it's going to be under Garrett, so Garrett, and then I'm at 123 Main Street in Austin.
I've got Garrett at 123 Main Street in Austin. So that's Wednesday, August 5th at 5 p.m. at 123 Main Street in Austin under Garrett. Shall I lock that in?
Yeah, that works for me.
I'll get that booked for you right now. You're all set. I've got you booked for Wednesday, August 5th at 5 p.m. Would you like me to text the confirmation to the number you're calling from?
Yeah, that works.
You're all
Thanks.
set. I'll send that over right now. The confirmation text is on its way.
Oh,
If there's
I got
anything
it. Thank
else,
you so much.
you're welcome. I'm glad we could get that.
All right, so you can see worked pretty well. Over here, you have the system activity, right? So you can see real-time lookup. Hey, is this guy actually in our system? Is he an existing customer? Does he have an existing appointment? So you can kind of pull things in real time, which is really helpful. And then let's go through and do the insurance one. So this one, I'm going to be a person calling in. I have an existing coverage, and I'm just going to be asking, I'm filing a claim. I just got in a car accident, so we'll see how it handles that.
Hi, Garrett. This is Riley at Lakeview Insurance Group. I've got your policy on file. How can I help you today?
Yeah, unfortunately, I just got into a car accident, so I just wanted to, file my claim, I guess.
I'm so sorry to hear that, Garrett. Accidents are stressful enough without the paperwork. Your claim gets filed directly with Ranchland Mutual, since that's who your policy is with, and they'll assign an adjuster to handle it. I'd be happy to set up a quick callback with your agent Priya so she can walk you through the next steps and stay on top of it for you. Does that sound helpful?
Yeah, if you can have her call me back as soon as possible, that'd be helpful. I'm just on the side of the road right now getting it all figured out.
I can get that set up for you right away. The soonest open slot I see is Wednesday, August 5th at 1 p.m. If that works for you, I can book it now. Otherwise, I can read the other options.
Just have her call me back as soon as possible. That would be helpful. Thank you.
I can put you on the calendar for the first available slot.
Perfect.
If that
Thank you.
I'll get this booked for you right now.
So then on that one, good example, right? On there, you do testing with this and say, hey, for my business, if someone got in a car accident, I want to put in there that we, send a message to our team immediately to call them back, right? Because then as a customer, you don't want to have to deal with time slots and everything. It's like, no, just call me back. I'm on the side of the road. I just got in a car accident. I want to file my claim, right? No one wants to deal with this, but I just want to get it over with. So helpful example there of just like working through trial and error and making sure that you like hone it in. Once we put that logic in place, now that won't happen anymore, right? All right, let's do our last example here. We'll kind of go through Stillwater. So basically this one is a wellness spa, right? They've got different services, and I'm just calling in as a previous member to just ask questions and get something booked.
Hi, Garrett. This is Stillwater Wellness Studio. What brings you in today? Massage? The sauna?
Yeah, actually, I just wanted a reminder. I can't remember what you guys have as an offering. What do you provide as services?
We offer 60 and 90-minute massages plus a 50-minute sauna and cold plunge circuit. You can add the circuit onto any massage, and we also do couples massages side by side. Are you in the mood for a massage, the circuit, or both?
I think I was going to do a massage. Hours are you guys open? How late are you open till?
We're open until 9 tonight. Monday through Friday, we're here from 8 in the morning until 9 at night, and weekends until 7. What day were you thinking of coming in?
Okay, let's do like a early morning one on maybe like Saturday. What do you guys have available?
One sec, let me check the schedule for you. The earliest morning slot I see is this Saturday at 1 p.m. Does that work for you, or would you like me to check a different time or day?
No, that's fine. Let's do Saturday at 1. For a massage, I think probably let's do 90 minutes.
So that's Saturday, August 8th at 1 p.m. for a 90-minute massage. Shall I go ahead and lock that in for you?
Yeah, that works.
I'll get that booked for you right now. You're all set.
Great. Thank you so
A
much.
text. Want me to text you a confirmation? If you'd like, I can send it to the number ending in 0100. Anything else I can help with?
No, I think I'm good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, and you can see there, right, handling that conversation back and forth, kind of explaining some of the details. So I didn't hard code any of this. The only thing that was hard coded is what's in that prompt. So let's go through and look at this prompt file here. You can see this is specifically the wellness prompt, right? So it's like, hey, you're Riley, front desk voice for this wellness studio. They're in Austin. This is the services we have. Hey, here's, again, same thing you would train your team with, right? Here's how you're going to specifically talk and act, and here's how you answer questions, and here's the information you should know. You're just going to put that in this one prompt file, right? This will tell you like, hey, I'd rather you stick to the truth, right? Like, don't make stuff up, don't fabricate it, don't fake stuff, you know, sound human, but like, don't lie about being one. If people ask like, is this an AI? It's like, yes, I'm an AI, right? So like, make sure that it fits your brand and your business, and you can custom tailor it however you want. You can force it to stay as best as possible into certain guardrails, right? Don't give these people medical advice. Don't do nutrition plans, right? Like, don't talk about discounts on behalf of my business or whatever, right? You could specifically kind of restrict that and then say, cool, here's how you do certain things. Here's how my business works. Here's the flow of things. I like to always have like a FAQ as well. So you can say, you know, here's just things about my business that the AI should know. Here's like about my memberships. Here's different FAQs. If they call in asking what the cancellation policy is, you can give them that information. But if they say, I want to cancel my appointment, I don't want them to do that, right? So you can program all those rules in here, and it's just you basically generating a prompt file and putting that in here, which I think is really, really helpful. So, all right, those are the main things I wanted to share. So now we're going to go back, and I'm going to stop sharing this screen. We're going to go right back to the presentation, right where we left off. And then we want to be sure to give this away to you guys, right? The whole setup's yours. Specifically, you go to this website link, 10x.dev/w/voice agent. I am going to make sure that you have everything there that you need, right? The code that I just demoed, right? That example, the prompts, so you can see, hey, what are some examples that I can use to drive in my business, right? You're going to be able to get the setup guide, the full flow, all the explanations of how to do it, what tools to use, what's the best of the best, and then you can rewatch this video there as well, just to kind of get some of those details. And we're going to jump to questions that we have. I'm going to pull up my chat here. All right, looks like Ricky asked, how do you avoid the agent hallucinating? All right, good question, Ricky. So, as we saw, the prompt, right? That prompt file, you can set specific rules. Similar to how you're going to use ChatGPT or Claude, you're going to put in specific prompts. They're going to say, hey, I want to be able to do this, but don't use this language or avoid this word or whatever, right? They're getting pretty good at like following those directions. But then outside of that, the different model, the voice model providers are specifically locking them down so that they follow the rules, right? They want them to be dependable for business use. They want them to handle these customer calls really well. So they put their guardrails to be very much so prioritizing the prompts that you're giving, which is really helpful. And then the last thing I'd say is there's this concept of tools. So you can actually enable or disable your model, your voice agent, to look stuff up on the internet. And I would probably say maybe turn that off for now. Like if you wanted to look up business hours, I would just put them all in the prompt, because then any opportunity you give the AI to, do internet searches, then maybe people will just, it'll get wrong information because the agent will look something up online that maybe you didn't want them to, or maybe it's an old web page that it found or something. So I would say they do a really good job of avoiding hallucination already when you kind of just follow best practices there. All right. Bob said, should I fire my receptionist? Bob, you savage. So I think I showed in the slides the examples of like before and after if you were to do that. Again, I think it depends on your business, right? Are you getting one phone call a day? Are you getting 100 phone calls a day? What do you want the client experience to be? So if you have your prospects or your clients calling in to your business, do you want them to always hear an AI, or would you prefer that they hear Dolores at the front desk who's answering these calls and just being delightful, right? Or maybe Johnny is one of your more junior sales reps, but he answers the phone and then hands it off to a more advanced sales rep if it should escalate as such. I think people always are going to prefer the human connection. They're always going to prefer the human to human call, but you can definitely make that decision for your business. I would probably start it off on a trial run. Keep everything in your business the same. Don't fire any employees just yet. Put it on the tail end, right? It'll be beneficial in two ways. One, you'll at least be able to catch the missed calls that we talked about at the beginning of this presentation. But two, if it's doing really well, then you can start to at least move those employees off to different jobs and roles and responsibilities while the AI takes the majority, and then transfer when an escalation is needed. Will people know it's a bot? I think so. Yeah. I mean, you guys just heard, right, what we experienced. It's like, yeah, it's really good. It handles the questions and responses and conversation really well, but it's still obviously AI, right? I think you can try to dial it in more. You could probably spend a lot more time improving it, changing out new voice models. They're coming out with new voice models all the time, so maybe they'll get better, and maybe they'll add in like fake little like or like, little gestures like that to make it sound more human, but I think it's always going to sound a little more AI. All right, another question here. All right, Richard says, what happens with heavy accents and background noise? Yeah, I actually made enough background noise, or had enough background noise outside my office here, that it stopped the prompt. I don't know if you guys caught that. It happens, right? The AI will just wait and try to hear what you're saying because it doesn't want to interrupt you. It lets you interrupt it though. So that's actually like a dial. You can say, all right, be really aggressive on that, be really sensitive, or be like hardly get interrupted, right? And so you have to find out that middle ground, test it out. They just came out with the latest version of this model, which basically is supposed to handle background noise better and try to detect voice instead of noise. And so it'll get better over time as they get more usage. You are feeding your data to it, so it is learning based on that, and then it'll get better from there. All right, do I have to disclose this AI to the caller? I think that's a local, I don't think there's any laws right now for inbound calls to have to disclose it as AI. No, I could be wrong in some states, but I think that would be like at the state level. But there are new rules and laws and regulations. So at the time of recording this, it is not, to my knowledge, a law or regulation yet. I do know that you cannot call outbound to do that, which I actually see someone here. Can it do outbound calls? It can, not legally though. You have to get consent and permission to then say, call me. So all those rules and laws and regulations do take effect. All right, let's see what else we have here. Where do the call transcripts live? All right, So for this one, call transcripts, to put it plainly, it will live on the voice model's servers. So they will obviously keep and track and record everything. You also have the option to keep and track and record everything if you want or not. I would recommend doing it because you get a lot of helpful, insightful data to capture that information, analyze it. Hey, what questions are people asking about my business? You know, how many times a day are they calling? What are they saying? Do I have more spam calls on certain hours, etc., right? It can help you kind of adjust your schedule too. If you do prefer humans to answer the call, you can actually adjust your schedule. Hey, I'm actually getting most calls from, 6 to 3 p.m. You can have your front desk person or a person who handles the phones to come in a little bit earlier if they're willing and able to. All right. Desiree said, can we change the voice? Yeah, you can definitely change the voice. I think there's like, I don't know, there might be like 15 different voice options. They're probably coming out with more and more. They're all pretty, generic or bland a little, in my opinion. So not a ton to choose from. I chose the one that I thought sounded the best, but you could have men, women, different ethnicities or different flares on the voice for sure. All right, let's see. How can I prevent any scheduling conflicts? All right, good question, Jesse. For scheduling conflicts, we can connect this to any part of your business. So if you have, Service Titan or House Call Pro or some other CRM that you manage your scheduling in, this will pull directly from the source. And then if they say, yes, I'd like to book that appointment, it can push an update, add that time slot in. And then depending on your CRM, it might say, oh, you can have one or more appointments at that time slot. But if it doesn't, then that time slot's no longer available. So if two people are calling in at the same time, they'd have to be like neck and neck in the conversation to get that to, to like book at the same time, but it won't be able to. It'll say, oh, I'm so sorry. Looks like that appointment just got booked, that appointment slot. Like, let's find another time for you, right? All right, we're still getting a lot of questions here. Keep them coming, guys. I want to make sure this is valuable for you. Does this update into my client management system? Yes, I think similar question to the other one. As far as conflicts, I think I answered that one. Can you go through pricing again? Would we pay you or someone else to use this? Yeah, so what we like to do at 10X Dev is to help you build out AI implementations into your business, right? This is a perfect example. Hey, I want to be able to have a phone call system, an AI receptionist, an employee in my business that's running 24/7, 365. Our goal is to empower your best employees to do more, to get your company to scale and grow, to utilize AI and technology to do more, right? So what we do is we build implementations in-house for you. So we'll install this, build it out, and help you to be able to have, connections to all your systems and CRM and scheduling and all that good stuff. And then from there, once you pay for that, then you just have to pay for that like monthly payment. It's usage based. So however many calls you get is kind of however much you'll pay. It's about 8 cents a minute. I think most calls are probably about 3 minutes, 4 minutes on average, which is where I kind of pulled in my analysis from there. So pricing is very reasonable in comparison. If you are getting 100 calls a day, I think that's like $380 a month or something. So not super crazy. All right. We have Shane asked, can this support multiple languages? A lot of my clients speak Spanish. Yeah, absolutely. I think it supports like 25 languages. So English, Spanish, Chinese, and some others that I'm blanking on. But yeah, it definitely can support multiple languages and be able to handle those conversations very well. Unfortunately, I cannot speak Spanish to test that out, but we can definitely run some demos and you can give it a go. All right, I think I got all the questions. Were there any last minute questions that we had come through? No last minute questions. All right. Well, that was great webinar. I appreciate it. Oh, we got one more question just popped through. Do I need a developer to set this up? You do not need a developer. You can go and try to figure this out on your own. That's totally fine. I'm sure most people could do that. We are experts in implementations like this. Give us a call. We'd love to help you. I can even walk you through kind of a rough direction of how to set this up. If you want something very customized for your business, connected to everything, running very seamlessly, we've already built this out for somebody else. It runs very well in production, handling many locations, lots of phone calls, and two-way text messaging. So definitely reach out to me. I'd love to chat with you on that. Otherwise, we have this link here that you can go to, and you can have your developers take a look at that and implement this yourselves. All right. I think that might be all of them. I appreciate you guys. Just as a recap, this is the AI voice agent for your business to be able to help you to get all the unanswered calls, get those answered. It could be a replacement for people manning the phones. So give it a look, try it out in your business, run through the example, download the code base that I share, follow the prompts, give it a try. It's really fun, and I think it's gonna be really helpful if you have any sort of service-based business that handles incoming customer phones. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it. All right.